We'll get started shortly. Good afternoon, everybody. We have a few people joining yet, so we'll wait until our numbers settle down just a bit. I'm going to move my Zoom controls around a little bit. All right. Welcome, everybody. We're very excited you could be here with us today. Thanks for coming. We know summer is winding down, and you have a few precious days, weeks, hopefully weeks. I have a feeling it's more like days before you start heading back to the classroom. So we so appreciate that you're choosing to spend your time with us here today. Welcome, welcome, everybody. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and start with a few intros. And while I'm talking, if you would go ahead and like to introduce yourself in chat, we would love to know where y'all are coming from today. You can let us know maybe where you're coming from, what you teach, your name, anything else you'd like to share. If you got some fun plans happening, whatever you want to share. We'd love to get to know our CodeHS educators. Welcome, Susanna. It's great to see you. Susanna's joining us from Tucson. It's finally cooled down where I am, so I'm thrilled that I'm not in Tucson right now.
I know.
Too warm. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, go ahead and toss your introductions into chat. My name is Lori, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm a PD specialist here at CodeHS. I've been here over 2 years now, and prior to this, I was in the classroom for about 20 years. I was a K-12 technology coordinator, and for about 10 of those years, I was also the high school computer science teacher, got to work with middle school kids as well, did some girls who code clubs, worked with elementary kids. I got the whole gambit, so it was wonderful. And during that time, I was also a CodeHS teacher, so I am thrilled to be here with all of you and getting to talk CodeHS and hear about how Felicia uses CodeHS. So welcome, everybody. We've got Denise with us from Utah. I think some of our team's heading to Utah next week. Let's see. Hey, Pamela from Alaska. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, everybody. It's great to see so many returning teachers as well. I love feeling like we're all a part of this computer science community. So welcome, everybody. So we also have with us Portia, and Portia is another PD specialist here at CodeHS. And Portia used to be a teacher trainer, and now she has joined our team to help bring coding and CodeHS and computer science to more educators. And the star of our show today is an amazing computer science teacher and teacher trainer and Inspire Fellow. I was trying to think of everything. Felicia. We have Felicia Palm with us today, and she is going to be sharing some of her phenomenal strategies for scaffolding and differentiation, and all through customizing in CodeHS. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I think our numbers have settled down just a little bit. I'm going to take us through a few of these first logistical items and get y'all settled in for Felicia's workshop today. All right, so we've started doing some of our introductions in chat. If you haven't done that yet, feel free to. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Tiffany from New Hampshire. Welcome, John from San Jose. Welcome. Welcome, John from New York. Hey, everybody. Hey, George, good to see you. Welcome, welcome, everybody. You can go ahead and keep throwing your introductions into chat. All right, our first link of our session is for the slides. So you can either scan the QR code or you can click on the link that Portia went ahead and tossed into chat for us. It's at codehs.com/custom-lessons-slides. I don't know why I try to read them anymore. They just come out there. But go ahead and grab that link and you can grab the slides today. You'll also be able to access those slides from the CodeHS workshop, that the workshop section that you'll be enrolling in shortly. And I'll send these out in the follow-up email as well. All right, and another link, since we have a little bigger group, it's not too big, but we want to make sure we don't miss any questions. So we do have a question parking lot. Portia just tossed that link into chat. The question parking lot also has all of the other links on it. So if you forget where the slides are or you miss the attendance link, you'll actually be able to get that here too. So you can grab that link or click that link or scan that QR code to get to the question parking lot. Go ahead and toss your questions there and we'll keep an eye on that. CodeHS.com/custom-lessons-questions. Now, if you're brand new to CodeHS, we completely invite you to go ahead and sign up for your free teacher account. Head out to codehs.com/signup to create that. If you do not, if you are just creating your account for the first time today, go ahead and send a message to either myself or Portia in chat, and we can get you verified on that today. Get that taken care of for you. And yeah, then you won't have to worry about that. We have all teachers go through a little bit of a verification process just to make sure that we're not giving students all those solutions. So, all right. Now, once you have your account, go ahead and sign in or sign in with your existing account. And please browse to codehs.com/go/C4A91 to go ahead and enroll in our workshop section today. And Portia went ahead and tossed that link into chat as well. Pretty easy process. Click the link. And it should take you out to a page that looks like this and click join section. I'm already in that section, so there we go. Can't even join twice. There we go. Happy little thing. So you can see what happens if you try to join the same section multiple times. All right. And I think let's just take a quick peek at how we're doing. Portia, I'll get you added to that too in case we have any questions from people about how to join the section. Ah, look at pros. Y'all are pros. We're getting everybody in. Perfect. Love it. All right. Go ahead and keep joining that section. We will absolutely add any resources there as well, so you have access to everything there. And the final link, maybe the final link, might be some more links, we'll see. But this is one you'll definitely want to click. Go ahead and click our attendance link. And this one is to just check in to the workshop. And also, this is what's going to let me send you a certificate of attendance. So make sure that you go ahead and click this link, and I'll send out the certificates a little bit later today. codehs.com/custom-lessons-attend. Portia has tossed that into chat, so you can click it right there. When you click that link, it should look like this. You shouldn't have to fill anything out, just done that fast. All right. And I think that was my last slide. And now I have the privilege and the pleasure of introducing our special guest, Felicia Palm. Felicia, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Lori. Thank you, Portia. Hello, everybody. I'm so excited and happy that everybody was able to join today. I have enjoyed and have been using CodeHS since we went virtual at the height of the pandemic, and it has truly been a lifesaver. So I am excited to show you all some of the things that I have learned that have been beneficial to me for the past two school years. So I'm going to jump right in. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and then kind of check. I see that we have 21 participants. So I guess that's about 18, 19 on the roster. So I can check. I don't want to leave anybody. I don't want to start and someone hasn't joined yet be on the roster. So if you cannot see my screen, please let me know.
Looks good.
Perfect. And you all, if I go too fast, please feel free to let me know. My students tell me sometimes, Palm, slow down, wait. So I'm used to it. Just please let me know. Okay, so just like this session says, this is about showing you all how to better customize your lessons for your students. And I just wanted to kind of point out 3 reasons why I feel like it's beneficial to customize some of the lessons. So here on my screen, I just put 3 key things that I suggest are reasons why you want to customize. First of all, you can tailor the lessons and the modules to fit your own individual classes. Even though CodeHS has done a phenomenal job providing us with resources and the lessons that are already preloaded, but there are times where you may want to just take a little piece of what they have already included and just kind of tailor it more for your students. And then also one thing that I like to do is sometimes the lessons are separated in one unit, and you may say, I could combine what's in unit 2 with what's in unit 3 based off of whatever you're learning in your class with your students. You may feel the need to combine some of the lessons. So that may be another reason why you would want to customize some of the activities for your students. And then another reason is you may want to extend a lesson. Even though you have gone through some of the preloaded lessons that CodeHS offers, you may feel the need to add a little supplemental activities at the end or in the middle, wherever you feel is best for you and your students. So in my opinion, those are just some reasons why I feel as though customizing CodeHS is beneficial for maybe beneficial for you and your students. And it's just awesome that CodeHS offers us this capability. So I'm going to jump right in, just letting you all know some of the steps to customizing. What I want to do first is to show you 3 examples of how you can customize. The 3 that I will be showing you, one came from my Python lesson. I'll show you an example of how I customize a lesson with HTML as well as a lesson with Carol. So if you have never used any of these, I feel as though you can still take some tips on what I did in these lessons and these languages. You may still be able to use them in the languages that you use for your class. And then after I show you some examples, I can demo how to do one from scratch. And the one that I'll do is with Python. So once again, even if you have never used Python, my hope is that you can still take some tips from how I customize the Python lesson and be able to do it with your lesson. And once again, please feel free to stop me and let me know if I need to redo something and if I am going a little bit too fast. So I do not mind at all. Before I start customizing, I do kind of identify what would I like the criteria to be. And I do use my CodeHS activities as my guide. I look at how they have put together their directions and their instructions. And then I kind of look at what they did. And then when I start customizing my own lessons, I use some of those same tips and tools. So I'm going to go ahead and show you all some examples first, so you can just get a visual. So the first one I think I'll do is when I customize one of the HTML assignments that we were working on. And the reason why I wanted to show you all this is because this was actually one of my favorite lessons from last school year, because it allowed my students to talk about the teachers that they appreciated in their lives. I told them not to pick me. I said, pick any teacher that you appreciate during Happy Teacher Appreciation Week. So I just went in and I, of course, added an assignment. So I'm just going to show you all how it looked. And whenever you customize your own assignment, you'll always see this edit button. If you don't see the edit button, then that means these were preloaded already for you by CodeHS. So you notice the difference. These were already preloaded. And this exercise right here has the edit button. So it's one that I created from scratch, and I can go back in and edit as I see fit. But let's just look at it very quickly as if I were a student. So I took some tips that I've seen the CodeHS lessons already do, where you give them instructions and you kind of use bullet points. And of course, I will have gone over this in class with them as well. But the benefit of having CodeHS is for my students who may miss class. They don't have to be left out. All of the instructions are here. I just give them the details that I want them to have. And then, of course, let's go and they start building their lessons here. So it looks very similar, pretty much just like all the preloaded lessons that are already provided for us by CodeHS. Okay. And once again, they just come over here if they have forgotten the instructions. So everything that we have already been learning using the tools that were already preloaded by CodeHS, I gave them a final project, which was called Happy Teacher Appreciation Week. And I gave them their instructions on what they had to do. So this is just an example of how I created one for my HTML, my class that was learning HTML. I also have a class that we're learning about the Carol, that was using Carol for their programming. After they had already gone through these lessons, 2.1 through 2.4, I added in a project. Once again, they have their option down here, says add new assignment. You see that there is a edit button here that lets me know that I created this and I can go back and edit as I see fit. So let's take a preview to look at the lesson. In Carol, I enjoyed using Carol because it gave me a little bit more options to customize what my student sees. For instance, it allowed me to give them a starting view, and it allowed me to show my students how it should look once they're done with it. Okay, so the reason why I feel like this is beneficial is because I took tips from the lessons that are already loaded into Carol inside of CodeHS. And I saw that they did the same thing. They will always show the students where they start and give them a visual of how it should look once they have coded successfully. So CodeHS does give you the option to create a beginning and a starting world and an ending world. And I'll pause for one moment in case anyone has any questions so far before I go to my last example. And then I'm going to demo so that you all can see how I created one of my lessons using Python. Okay. All right, so I'll go ahead and hit let's go. And once again, here's what the student sees, and they just jump back and forth to get a visual on their instructions. Okay, and then my last example before I show you how I actually created this lesson is already loaded on your screen, on your CodeHS screen if you have joined our class. So under the workshop resources, you see the basic Python option. I have already loaded an activity that I tailored, that I customized in here. So remember, one of the benefits of customizing that I said was that you can combine lessons or modules into another lesson or module. So for example, if I scroll down, I see that comments don't begin until about right here. Well, since I've been teaching this for a while, I felt that it would be beneficial to go ahead and start exposing my students to comments a little earlier. I didn't really feel it was necessary to wait. But once again, this is how you would tailor your classroom. So that's the benefit. I just feel like I could go ahead and introduce comments here. So what I would have done, if this was my class, I would have moved the video as well as I would have pretty much moved each item from this section right here. And for those that may not know, you can just hit these three bubbles and move them where you want them. And then after I would have moved them here, they would have been learning about the beginning or the basic printing in Python. And then they would also have been learning about comments. After they would have gone through these activities, that's where I created my own activity. And as you can see, there's an edit button. And I use the same criteria that I saw CodeHS using in regards to their instructions. Now, how would this look once I'm done? Let's go to preview. And once again, I just used a brief description on what I wanted my students to do now that they had finished and gone through the lessons that were loaded. And here's their starting point. Now, how did I get this starting point already here? That's probably what most of you all are here for, is to get a quick demo. So let me show you how I created this one. And once again, I know some of you all may have never used Python, you use other languages, but my hope is that this will still be beneficial to you by me showing you how I created a lesson using the Python activity. So let me close that. And once again, please let me know if you have any questions. So I'm going to recreate this one right here. And how did I do that? I just go to add assignment. And Python has set up several options that I think are wonderful. I have not had a chance to use every last one of them, but I suggest you all feel free to play around with it. The one that I use the most is this first one right here. So that's the one I'm going to use for now. And then I'm just paying attention to the screen so that I make sure I'm on the right activities and choose the right type of program. So since we're doing Python, I would just scroll down and choose the Python that I'm using for my class, which is Python 3. I put in my instructions, and of course, you tailor the name of the title, just like we do for all of our assignment. I would just call this print statement with comments. And here's where you can put all the description that you would feel would be best for your students. So I would just, for the sake of time, I'll just throw something in there really quick, just as a visual. Each print statement, be sure to also add a multi-line comment. Okay, so since I know I have already done this, I'm going to copy something real quick just to save time for us. I'm going to copy some details from my previous assignment, just so you all can see how do I give my students a starting point. So let me show you how it would look to give them a starting point, so that there are times where you may want them to start from scratch, but there are times where you want to give them a starting point and provide them with code that's already preloaded. So I'm going to go and grab the one that I just showed you all. Oh, this is the new one. Okay, so I want this to already be preloaded so that my students are not starting from scratch. So I'm copying and pasting that over here. All right, so I'm back on my previous screen. So I'm ready to, I've given them the instructions, I've given them a title. Now the next tab at the top says starter code. As you can see, CodeHS already preloads one line of code, which is very helpful. In this case, I have another set of instructions, or I have other details that I want my students to start with. So I pasted those, and then you come over here and you save that starter code. Next, you go to the solution code. Now, there will be times where you may want to make sure I remember, because there are times where I'm grading so many things and my instructions may be very detailed. So I want to just a quick visual of how it should look when my students have completed it correctly. So you can come over here and copy and paste a solution. And I can't remember whether I did that on the example. Let's see quickly. So once again, it may be beneficial for you to paste a solution so that you will remember quickly how it should look, and I did. So I'm gonna copy this solution right here from the example that I just showed you. So I'm back on the solution tab. If my students do this correctly, now once again, this is not going to auto grade this. This is just for you to see how it should look once they have finished it. Did they create a multi-line comment at the top? And here's an example of how it should look if they did. Did they create a single line comment above each print statement? So if you look at my instructions, that's what I was asked. Of course, I minimize the instructions on here because this is just a demo for you all. But I told them to add a comment above each statement and be sure to add a multi-line comment. So if they did it correctly, it should look something like this. Here's a multi-line comment at the top, and above each print statement on line 6, you can see there's a comment, here's another comment, and here's another comment. So you can see the difference. The starter code is what you've preloaded for them to begin with, and then you go to the solution code right here to give yourself a reminder, an example of if my students did this correctly, here is how it should look, something like this. And you just save it. And I have to admit that I rarely have to make any changes here, but I wanted you all to get a visual of how it looks in case you may feel like you may need to make some changes, but I don't ever have to change anything on my configurations. And then you can take one little look at it before you post it if you like. if everything looks good. And I always like to just go back and save again. Probably not necessary, but I do it just because. And then once you exit out, you'll see that your new assignment is now loaded and ready for your students to access and begin work. So that was just an example of how to create your own demo if you're using Python. And since we have a little extra time, if anybody, Lori or Portia, is there anything I need to answer? If not, I can just show a quick little demo for Carol. If anybody's interested, I don't know if anybody's using Carol.
I don't see any. Yeah, no questions yet. Portia, you haven't seen any either? I started talking over you. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. I think it's always a good idea to show more demo. So perfect.
Perfect. So since we have some time, for those that are using the Carol program, if you're interested in creating a Carol lesson or customizing a Carol lesson, you can always do the same process, go through the same process. And I'll show you how did I get the beginning and ending world. Okay, let me come back out. It gave me a little error, but let's see. Once I start, will it allow me to show you all how did I add that starting and ending world? So once again, I have yet to play around with some of these other options, but definitely feel free, especially if you give your students, what do you call it, like journal writing? That's a free response you can give them. You can load an article, video. So once again, I do encourage you all to check out these options right here. Definitely you can customize your own quiz. That's a wonderful option right there. So I'm going to go to my first one, my favorite one. I'm going to load it, and just like before, I always make sure you choose the correct program type. And I think I'll do Super Carol. I can't remember which one I used, but I just use Super Carol. Same process. Go ahead and give a name, and I'll just call this practice. Go ahead and give the good description like you normally do with your students. I'll call this practice info just for the sake of time. All right, now here's how I created that beginning and ending visual for my students. Before I leave this activity page right here, there's an option at the bottom that says advanced settings. If I click on those, click on that option, this option will allow me to customize my screen or customize what my students will see so that they know when they have finished the coding correctly. It shows them how it should look when they start and how it should look once they've coded it correctly. So you can look through these codes just so you're knowledgeable about what they are, but I go straight here to Carol World and I can edit the worlds. And when I say worlds, how should it look when my students start? And how should it look when my students are finished or have finished programming correctly? So right now you see it's just a plain old screen. What if I wanted to start my students off with maybe Carol having one ball on the screen somewhere? So I would click the add ball and then I click wherever I want that first ball to appear. What if I wanted one wall for Carol? And once again, if you have to pay attention, it took me a minute to figure out, okay, where's the wall going to go? So you just play around with it for a minute and you see how it's going to go. Where do you want Carol to actually be? That's where you play around with where he or she begins. Okay, so once again, this is how you can tailor what your students see when they first begin. So I always change it to start or starting Carol World, save it. And now that's what they will see or should see once they first start. And then I'll go back to my world. Now, how should it look once my students have finished or finished coding properly? Go back to that same blue button, add new world. This time I would call it ending or whatever you decide. And by the time they're finished, maybe I want Carol to be all the way at the end. Okay, let's see, does that move? Okay, that's fine. And maybe right here. And maybe by the time they're finished, they should have a ball in each corner. So I click on add ball and put a ball wherever I want it to be. And then maybe I want to add a wall. They should have, okay. The wall should match whatever the wall I put down there in the beginning. And I don't remember, so I'm making it up now. But you know that the wall, whatever wall is on, because the students can't add walls, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't remember, but I don't think they can. So the wall on the ending stage should match the first starting wall. Hit save. You can publish it. Go back to the program. And now your students will have a visual. Okay, here's how it should look. Here's how it looks once I go in. By the time I finish coding, if I have coded successfully, properly, it should look like this. So I feel like that's always beneficial, giving students a visual while they work. Okay. All right. And go back to this page right here. Hit next. And let's see, should take me back. Okay, so this is the page I was getting to. Once you've saved everything on this page, you can go back and start looking through your options again. If you have a solution, you can look through it and everything. Save what you've done. Of course, you should have your instructions there. And I think I hit save here. And let's see, did it come out the way I wanted it to? So it's loading here. Now when I go to preview, and now when I go to preview, my students will see my instructions. And in this case, I just put 2 words for the sake of time. And they'll see how it should look when they start, how it should look when they're in. And then they get started as usual and start coding based off whatever instructions you have given them or provided for them. Okay, and I hope that was enough examples just to get you all started and to get you all in the process of thinking the benefits of customizing your lessons. And once again, please feel free to take the opportunity to look at some of those other options. Even though the exercise ones were my favorite, I do feel like the other ones are very beneficial as well. And so I hope they are to you. So Laura, whenever you're ready,
All right.
That's how much, and thank you all.
That was awesome. And I love that you showed the how to create new Carol worlds as well. I think that's something that so many of our CodeHS teachers don't think about being able to do, but you can absolutely do that. And that actually makes me really excited for a workshop that's coming up next week too. So does anybody have any questions about anything or about how to get to those different customization options? Because I could certainly take us through some of those as well. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Oops. There we go. Let's see. And Portia, if you see any questions at all, go ahead and stop me. There we go. I just found my chat again. So, but we did add into the slides too, some additional information about customizing your courses. So you can definitely reference this at any point. So you can customize your courses from that directly from the assignments page, as Felicia was showing. And you have a lot of options for how you can customize. And a really cool thing about this is that the customization features are, for the most part, available to any teacher. So whether you are free or pro, you have a lot of capabilities to do these customizations for your own courses. So you definitely have access to these resources. Does anybody have any questions about any of that? All right. Okay. I don't think I'm seeing. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No, no questions, but you know, I'm a big fan of the assignment types and customization.
Yes.
Can we go over one other like either how to add videos or, I'm a big fan of quizzes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Or the article, because the article is really easy to integrate with Google Drive. So
It
that's
totally is. So I'm just pulling up a couple of things right now over on a different screen. Portia, I love that. And since we have a little bit of time, we'll definitely do that. And Michelle, I see, okay, no way to auto grade with solution. There is. We're not going to go into that in a ton of detail today, just because it is a whole other beast when we come to customization. Portia has actually done a ton of auto grading. And so I think at some point we're going to be looking at putting together, I think, a workshop for that. But it is definitely a different level of complexity. And we do have some knowledge base articles, actually. Portia, if I can ask you to maybe search that knowledge base, and we'll toss those into chat so you can start taking a look at some of those options too.
There's
So,
also another
go
question
ahead.
in the
Yeah.
parking lot. We can
Oh,
find those
perfect.
questions. Pamela asks, is there a way to create folders of assignments within a class? Maybe we should show the create tool side because that's
Maybe
a little
we
bit easier.
should. Yes, maybe we'll do a quick demo there. So I like that. So let's just do a couple of quick things here, because I'm seeing one more question come in. So I'm going to show you. Here, let me move all of our faces out of the way. There we go. Well, now I just shoved them in the weirdest place, but that's okay. Bear with me one second, everybody, while I rearrange my Zoom windows. Okay. So just as a quick, very quick demo. So I'm in the assignments page right now, and I'm actually in, Felicia, I'm in your workshop section. So I'm going to be messing it up just a little bit, but I'll show you a couple of the basic things you can do here also. So first, you can absolutely move things around really easily. You can actually change these modules. I saw somebody had a question about that. So you can drag them around by clicking the edit button, and you can actually move them this way. Be careful when you're coding or moving around the CodeHS courses and the coding lessons and modules, because often those are going to be sequenced in a progression kind of way, and we don't want to change that progression. So you can drag and drop those. You can also come into the module and into the lesson, and you can move these around really easily too. One of the most common things I see people do, and it's a really simple change, is with the check for understanding quizzes that come right after the videos. You can actually click on, let me zoom in just a little, these three dots all the way to the right of the activity. And when you do that, you actually have an option to move this to another lesson, or move it up or move it down. And what I see happen a lot is people will move this down and it becomes an exit ticket. Sometimes I even see people or teachers move this to another lesson or to the start of the next lesson, and then it becomes an opener for that class. So there's a lot of ways you can actually use these by just simply moving them around so they're still in a good progression. You can also even click on those three buttons and you can entirely remove something. So if I removed this example, there, now my example's gone. Now, if you have a little moment, you think, oh no, I didn't want to remove that example. I can move my mouse back up to the top of the screen, click on course settings. And from here, I find my trash. And much like when we accidentally throw something away, we can come out to our trash can and grab that example and restore it. And that's going to put it right back where it belongs again. And so there's easy ways to go back, grab those assignments or grab that activity and actually put it back where it belongs. If you really can't find it, you could even add it again from the course itself. So lots of things you can do there. And I was just thinking, what was I starting to do? Because this wasn't my starting place, but I remember. That's such a Lori thing to do. All right. So one other thing I want to show you before we talk about those item types a little bit more. If I come down from this add button and click on CodeHS content, I can actually add any other content from any other course. So you can customize a course and add in whatever you want from the CodeHS catalog as well. So Felicia was talking about adding in some Carol activities or about working on some Carol activities. So if I wanted to do that, I can click on Intro to Computer Science and JavaScript. I can grab the entire unit, or I can even decide which lesson I want to grab. I'm going to go ahead and add the whole thing, assign selected, and we'll view these assignments in my course. And there we go. A little bit slower when I'm on Zoom. And there we go. And it added that in. Now I can move that around. I can do whatever I want with it, but it's in my course as well. Now, some of those amazing assignments that Felicia was talking about are also some of my favorites too. I especially love, Felicia, that you mentioned the free response. I know for myself as a former ELA teacher, I always thought, I wonder if it's just me who wants to stick reflections and journaling in every single thing I do. But it's not. I think this is a really important thing that we should all be adding into our courses. And those free response questions are an awesome way to add even a journal into your course. And you don't have to carry around notebooks then. So if I wanted to add some more content here, I'm just going to go up to Workshop Resources, click Add New Lesson. I'm going to call this Stuff because we're just going to start creating some stuff here. Click Create. And now I can expand that and my lesson's empty. So I can click Add New Assignment. And a couple of the things that Portia was talking about are some of my favorites as well. I love adding videos. I was always I still am a big screencast fan. Whenever I had to miss class, I would, instead of writing a bunch of notes, I made a screencast for my students. And you can actually embed that right here as a video. You could even take the CodeHS videos. So for instance, all of our videos are on YouTube. You can take those videos, drop them into, say, Edpuzzle or TED Ed Lesson Creator or one of those type of apps and build in your own assessments and then re-add it to your course. You can also embed articles or web pages for your students to view. This is how we actually embed the workshop slides into our sections. I'll give you a quick example of this. And what I'm going to do is embed the exact same slides again. Give me 1 second while I grab that link. And all we do is grab the share link. So make sure that your permissions are set correctly. I'm going to go ahead and name this Workshop Slides 2. And then I might even go a little extra step and make sure that it just shows up in preview mode. I don't know that this is necessary, but it's just a habit I've gotten into. I changed this little URL right here. I changed the edit to preview and give my students a description. Here is another copy slides. Click save. I can go through just like Felicia showed, make these changes if I like, save and finish, close, and it's added it. If I want to preview it. And here's how it looks embedded. Pretty amazing. You've got slides right there. You can click through them. And in fact, you can even look at speaker notes from here too. But it just looks so polished and students don't have to leave the platform. Everything can go in one spot. The other item, oh, I know what I wanted to show y'all. This is really cool. So one of my favorites happens to be embed. And from the embed activity, you can actually add things like a Padlet. Let me find a little Padlet. Give me 1 second. Oh, this one's cool. We'll grab this one. So right now I'm opening Padlet on another screen, and I'm going to grab the embed code. Now the embed code is huge. Any apps that you want to embed, they're pretty long. You want to copy and paste those. I'm going to call this sample Padlet. I'm going to say, here we go. I would put better directions in there. And then I'm going to click save. Now, if I preview this, and there's my Padlet. How cool is that? And students would actually be able to sign into this or sign into Padlet directly from here, add those Padlets or post to a Padlet right from here. You can also do this really well with apps like Flipgrid or, oh gosh, Quizlet. Quizlet is really fun because it'll actually embed the individual activities. You can grab special embed codes for each of those. I think Kahoot. One that makes me mad that doesn't embed in anything is Jamboard. I love Jamboard, but it does not embed in any LMS. But most of these are going to embed just fine. And the quizzes are pretty amazing as well. So you can absolutely create your own quizzes really easily. I'm going to call it new important quiz because of course it's important. And I can add a new question. I'm going to say, what is Lori's favorite color? Worst quiz question ever. I'm going to say red, blue, green, and orange. Now I have to make sure to say which one is correct and click create. And I can add as many questions as I like from here as well. So this is a really cool way to add your own quizzes too. Let's see. Since all custom assignments are public on the free version, how would you recommend adding something? Oh, like a teacher's paid teacher's assignment that can't be shared publicly. It's not, I don't think adding a custom assignment is really public beyond the LMS. Because you're not adding it to the problem bank. You'd be, and Portia, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I feel like if you're just, you'd have to actually add it to the playlist. Oh, really? You know, we'll do some double checking on that and we'll get an answer. I can even send that in the follow up. So Wendy, and I'll make sure I follow up with you for sure too, but we'll get an answer for that. Cool. Okay. Let's see. Oh, and the create tool. I was just thinking there was something else I was going to show you super quick. So this is all from the assignments page. Now, if I come over to the navigation pane on the left-hand side of our screen, I can click on create. And I'm going to see a few extra things here because I'm in a way different account. But what I wanted to show you were things like my assignments. And this is where you're actually going to see any of the content that you're creating, whether you're creating it from here, because you can create new assignments here, or if you create it in line directly in your section too. And let's actually take a look. So here I can add it to a playlist. I can edit it from here. I can view it from here. I can even assign it to another course. So I can do a lot of editing from here. You can see here's my new important quiz. I made that in the assignments list. Here's my sample Padlet. I made that in the assignments list as well. Here's my workshop slides too. You can see I have a ton of different things here. And all of these are all added into some different courses. But this is going to be a really great way to go back and actually, if you make something once, you can actually go back and grab it again, or you can add it to one of your playlists as well. So most of the customization tools, many of them are available for free and pro teachers. I would say some of the things that are not, let me go ahead and go back to assignments real quick. There are some quiz functionality things that are available only to pro. And one of those would be, I'll just give you a quick example. I'm going to go to the conditionals quiz here. And one of those things would be the ability to actually fork a quiz. So if you are a pro teacher, you would be able to come in and make a copy or fork a copy of any of the existing CodeHS quizzes. That is a pro functionality. And now I can actually edit that and change any because it's my copy. So I can, whoops, sorry, my screen's doing a little funky thing here. I can actually change anything here. It won't affect anything on that original copy. That one is a pro functionality. But otherwise, you're able to move around these activities, the modules, units. You can create brand new modules, lessons, assignments. You can add sandbox programs, and you can add additional CodeHS content. And if you are interested in learning more about the pro versions, we can drop a link into chat about how to find out that information. And I'll go ahead and maybe I will. Lost my mouse for just a brief moment. There we go. Cool. You got links from both of us. Portia and I are like, I'm never going to try to race you, Portia, because you're always faster. All right. So that was a really quick overview of more stuff you can do. But definitely, think about the things that Felicia's told you about why you might want to customize. Your students are always going to be at different places. They're going to have different learning needs. And in order to address those, customization is going to be a great strategy. Oh, and the reordering, I forgot about.
Let's do it. I know it's a small thing, but it does matter.
It's a big deal. I knew there was something. I thought I'm forgetting something. It wasn't just create tool. So I went back up. I just totally blew past it. Let me back up one level. So from the assignments page again, maybe from the assignments page, we'll just click on it a couple more times. You're going to click on course settings from the top right corner. So right here, course settings. And from there, show sequential problem numbers. Oh, show sequential problem. That's beta. Module.
Yeah, there's a different one.
Yeah, never mind, right here. So that's the one we want, sequential module numbers. Sorry, I'm totally in a different account here. So we're going to do that one. And now if I go back, it should change my numbering. There we go. And everything is numbered then. So it's a little bit easier way to do that. Is there a way to update the unit number? Okay, yeah. So the unit number themselves, you'll still see here where it says unit 1, unit 4, unit 3. I would definitely make sure to point kids to this. And that's something we could maybe take back and let engineers know, see if there's a way to change that. I'm not sure that there is.
That was the beta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's coming. So hopefully soon. Keep watch. All right. I believe that's in beta currently. So this is our workaround for the time being. So stay tuned and we'll keep you posted on any updates on that. All right. Such a fast demo. This is good. You all got a lot of information. I absolutely loved seeing, Felicia, what you brought to this workshop today. One of the things we want to make sure all teachers take away from CodeHS is that even though we want to give you as many things as you might possibly need, might possibly want for your coding lessons, we also want you to be able to bring yourself into your coding lessons. We want you to have the opportunity to have your perspective here as well. You're the ones who are the experts with your students, and you're the ones who know what you need to reach your students. Also, I think as teachers, we all have our own toolboxes of things that we use. And so we want to make sure you're able to do that. And so that's really what customization is about for us, making sure you can do what you need to do to let your students be successful. So we have a few more resources for you. And if you've been at any of our workshops before, you might have seen these, but lots of different resources, lots of ways to get involved with CodeHS. If you are not a CodeHS certified educator, we invite all of you to go ahead and apply. It's a really cool program. I think, Portia, you were a certified educator, right? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was.
That was the dumbest question ever. Of course you were. I was a certified educator. Really cool program to get into. And also, we've got some CodeHS micro-credentials if you want to check those out. Join the CodeHS Facebook educators group if you have not already. Check us out on social media. And we also have another way to connect, and that is with our CodeHS community on Slack. So this is something that we really hoping we can get some conversations started and stay connected with each other throughout the year. I think it's so important that as educators, we do all stay connected and learn from each other and have that support to lean on each other. So to join that, you can click on the very first link that is in the list Portia added to chat. It is codehs.com/community-connect. There are lots of little channels that are starting to pop up there, and we would love for you to be a part of that. Also, we have some workshops coming up very soon again. Next week, we have one that I think is perfectly timed. Felicia, this is just perfect that you focused on and talked about the Carol lessons too, because another teacher trainer, Eric Magnus, is going to be focusing on a whole series of Carol lessons that he created, Coding Adventures with Indiana Carol. These are available in the problem bank, and he has made a really cool set of new adventures for Carol, and he has edited all those worlds like that. So absolutely invite you to check that out. That is next Thursday, August 4th. Little different time, 12:30 to 1:30 Central. If you are not able to make it, please register anyway. You will definitely get that follow-up email with the recording. And then on Monday, August 15th, we have another workshop coming called New Powerful CodeHS IDE Features. Our engineers have been very hard at work this summer, and even those of us on the team are just blown away by the number of features that have been added. And so you'll absolutely want to check out this workshop on Monday, August 15th. And it's a short one, 4 to 4:30 p.m. Central. Definitely register. If you can't attend, you will want to see what these new features are. You can visit all of these at codehs.com/freepd. And that link is in chat right now too. One final link for today. We would love it if you would give us a little bit of feedback, codehs.com/workshop survey. Let us know how we did today and what else would you like to see from us? We would love to know what your thoughts are and what you like, what you would need from the from us. What can we bring to you? And we'll be more than happy to take a look at that and take your suggestions and start planning more workshops. So if you could take a second to do that, that would be great. And just because we're getting a few more questions about Pro, I'm going to grab that link one more time. Unfortunately, as a PD person, I don't know very much at all about any of the pricing specifics, and it is so specific to each school district, each teacher, each classroom. And so in order to get the best pricing information, you will want to fill out this form, codehs.com/learn-more. And somebody from the team can get together with you and find out what your specific needs are and give you some pricing that's based on your needs. So, all right.
Also, Lori, anybody who's interested in trying the beta for the reordering of units, Ebony has said that if you click on the little chat button, they can put it into your account if you want to test it out.
Ebony, I didn't see you here. Ebony, awesome. I'm so glad you're here. Now, if you are interested in trying out that beta group, make sure to click on that chat button. Excellent. That's so funny. How did I not see you, Ebony? Very engrossed in the workshop, Felicia. I saw nothing else. All right. So unless we have any other questions, we will go ahead and wrap up another amazing teacher trainer workshop. Felicia, thank you so very much. I think that customization is something that teachers are wanting to know more about all the time. And it's so critical that we combine that discussion about how to customize with the idea of differentiation, that, hey, we can scaffold for our kids, we can differentiate for our kids, all in the platform through that customization. So thank you all so much for being here. Felicia, thank you again for delivering an awesome presentation about how you customize in your classroom. Portia, thank you for your help. Hey, Ebony, thank you for being here and making sure we share that info with our teachers. And thank you to all of you. We know that summer's winding down and you chose to spend part of your day with us, and we couldn't be more grateful. It was a privilege to spend this time with all of you, and thank you so much. Have a wonderful start to your school year, and we really, truly hope that we get to see you very soon at the next CodeHS workshop.
Thank you all.